Life throws you a curveball of apples. And when you get a curveball of apples, all you have to do is try to avoid it. Simple as that. So, welcome. We're a couple minutes away from getting this live stream started. I just want to. Where am I? There we go. That's what I want. And that's what I want. I think I'm still on. Yeah, I am still on that. So I'm going to keep that way for now. And then we'll figure it out from there. So, there we go. And now we're going to do that. And we're going to do that. Crop. Yeah, sure, I'll crop that. Save. And we're going on there. There we are. All right. Are we there? Yeah, let's go ahead and go live on the AMS. What did I just do with it? There it is. There I is. There I is. Welcome. My name is Jeffrey Powers, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Let's go ahead and figure this out a little bit. We're going to be unboxing very, very soon. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I hate how that looks. Let's see if I can refresh that. Wow. That's just horrible. We got to flip this over. We have to flip this over. And we can bring that down. I'm doing a last minute fix here, which you shouldn't see, but just in case. Oh. Yeah, that's not it. Let's do that. There we go. Boop. Like that. Let's see how that looks. Good enough for me. Good enough for government mules. How y'all doing? Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine. And I'm going to hit the record. How you doing? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine. Think Magazine put into Geek. And I'm still trying to put this all together. So give me a second. We had some small technical difficulties that came into other technical difficulties that came into other technical difficulties that came into other technical difficulties. So, but we're here. You're here. I'm here. We're both here. And that's all that matters. So thank you very much for coming. Let's do that. There you go. My name is Jeffrey Powers. You can find me over at Geekazine, Think Magazine, put into Geek. That's where you can find me. I'm going to bring that back up so I can see myself. And of course, if you would like to, please unmute and follow if you're over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine watching this live stream. So where are we? What are we doing? Why is that like that? Let me just fix something here. I'm just going to move this over a little bit so I can get in shot. And I'm going to do that and that and that and that. And you have no idea what that was, but that's okay. All right, we got a few things that we're going to unbox today. Today is Tech Day, so feel free to ask questions in the comments wherever you're watching from. We're live on YouTube, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're live. Are you live on Amazon? We're live on Amazon. Amazon Live. Maybe I should have combed my beard. I should have brushed my beard. Sorry about that. Wow. Okay, let's do that. All right, that's done. That's done. That's done. That's done. Well, welcome. That a good first impression, right? Yeah. How you doing? You can find me over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, where, of course, you'll see all the cool stuff that we're going to be reviewing and looking at. I just looked at I had to inflate my tires, so I thought I'd do a video. And then we just did the Wavelink, which is this cool little dual SSD or hard drive box that can do up to 44 terabytes of data. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to show you some cool and unbox some cool stuff. So if you're not over at the live stream, if you're on Amazon, you basically look for live streams, and then you can pull down, you'll see Geekazine right there in the list. And then, of course, that'll take you here. Here we have the chat, so we can say hello, unmute, and say hi. There you go. There we go. And so now you'll been able to do that, and of course you'll be part of the live stream. I appreciate it very much. So we're gonna get some of the stuff out of the way. I'm gonna keep this up because we're gonna unbox this first of this thing, and then we'll get to these other things later. But we have one thing, we've got another thing, and the other thing will come to the other thing, and that will bring us to the thing that's ultimately the thing that we've gone to. So, all right, let's take this, and we'll go down here, and we'll go up here, and we'll go boop, boop. There we go. And yeah. See less of the mess in the back. And let's start here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with this great guy right here. This is the Minix. This is the SF15 foldable portable monitor with a lot of great features, including low blue light, HDR technology, and of course IPS 178 degree viewing angle IPS. So let me get to the right page here. There we go. Everything's backwards. Yay. All right. So what this is a monitor. It's 1080p, 300 nits in brightness. It's got a 100 watt PD in it, and it's gives you low blue light options. And it's you can use a Type-C or an HDMI connector to it to connect up your laptop, connect up your gaming system, or anything else. So let's go ahead. How's my overhead? Oh, my overhead's doing pretty good. Let's go ahead and unbox this thing. Let's we'll do the zoomies on this first. That all can go. That's all can go. But that's all this can go. Let's do that. We'll get that out of the way and that out of the way. And screwdrivers can get out of the way. There we go. And this guy we're going to talk about later this week. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and unbox this. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask it in the chat. So once again, it's a dual monitor from a company called Minix. This is the first time that I've talked with Minix and done any products with them. So, by the way, all these products, the Minix product and others, I did get from the companies to review. They're not sponsoring these. All opinions are my own. Geekazine has a review policy that you can look over if you have any questions. So, with that said, with that done, let's go back over here. There we go. And we'll take off the cellophane. As you can see, I like to do unboxings, first look unboxings, where I have never opened it up. Now, it's not always the case, but in this case, I can. I love it when I can just get a surprise of what is going on with the device. So, All right, so like I said, we have recycled metal. 19. It's a dual 1080p screen. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we've got here. And we'll do the side look here. There we go. All right, from the beginning, we've got it's a nice case. Actually, I love these bags because they have zipper locks, so I can actually use them for something else, or I could put it all back together. So what do we got here? We got a really nice case for our monitor. That's something I don't normally get. We're going to set this right here because I'm going to keep it close. We have the monitor itself right here, and then we'll put that underneath. And then what we have under this foam, we've got the user guide, and then we have a series of cables. First thing is we've got a standard wall wart. Let's see what what we've got here for a wall wart. It says 5 volt 3 amp, 9 volt 3 amp, or 12 volt 2.5 amp. And I think that's depending on what's going on through this wart, that you'll have one of the three different voltages going through there. We've got the HDMI to micro HDMI cable, a standard for these types of displays. We've got looks like a USB-A to USB-C cable. We've got a USB-C to USB-C cable right here. And then we've got another USB-C to USB-C cable. Now, this is a dual monitor, so I'm expecting nothing else in the box, so we can get that out of the way. I'm expecting this to actually need to be powered while you connect it up if you want to use the dual monitor in high definition. That's what I've been seeing with these dual monitors, is that they need to be plugged into a power source as well. They work outside the power source, but they can be really choppy. So, like for instance, they can they'll go into, like I said, low power mode, so you won't be able to do too much with them. So let's just move that out of the way for now. And here's the monitor here. Let's go over here. Excuse me. And we'll zoom it in a little bit so you can see what's going on. There we go. So this is the monitor. We'll flip it like this. And as I flipped it up, I realized that I zoomed in too much. So let's zoom out a little bit. And up. There we go. We'll go up even more. And there we go. So there's the monitor, dual monitor. We could have it in landscape mode. We could definitely have it in vertical mode. The back is where we've got all the stuff here. And I think, yeah, it is a kickstand as well. So that's good. And what's interesting is all the connectors are on the kickstand here. So pretty interesting. We're going to fold this back down. We'll just did the kickstand like this. So as you can see, that's what the monitor looks like. Let's zoom in to see what we've got for connectors, because like I said, all the connectors are going to be back here. And we're going to zoom in even more so you can see that. And then we're going to lock that. And let's see, there we go. All right. So on this side right here, we have volume up, volume down, and power button. These three right here. If we move over to the other side of the kickstand, that's where you're going to see your, let me just see. Oh, wow, okay. We have two USB-C connectors. One's going to be for power, one's going to be for a laptop. We've got two HDMI inputs for other monitors, so you can have up to 3 devices, one USB-C and 2 HDMI. So gaming system, or I don't know, DVD player if you still have one. And then of course USB-C to your laptop right there. All right. I don't know if there's any extra software that needs to be installed. Usually in dual monitors, sometimes that is the case. That's what we're going to find out as we open this up. So let's go ahead and open this up like this, and you'll see this. Let's see how much of a kick we could do. Okay, that's it for the kickstand. So we have it fully kicked down, if that's a word, kicked down. And let's zoom this out. Let's do that. There we go. All right, so there it is, completely kicked out. And we'll put it towards the edge of the table there. So that's what it looks like. I could probably fold this. Yeah, I could totally fold that back. So that could go into tent mode. So if you're doing a, oh, you can't see me. Hi. If you're, let's move this over a little bit. There we go. If you're doing a meeting where both of you need to see the screen, then you can mirror it that way and run it that way, of course. So we need one cable, at least one cable. We'll go with one USB-C right now. So we got the C to C. This says this is the power cable, which is very interesting. So we're going to leave that as the power cable, which means that we got, this must be a with an adapter on it. No, this is a USB-C to USB-A cable. And then, oh yeah, we do have another C to C. Okay, there's the C to C. Let's go ahead and pull that out. And of course, they got the protective caps on, so we got to take those off. Boop, boop, like that. This is going to the power. This is going to the computer. And I think on the back here, it'll even say, yes, the power. This is going to the computer, so we'll plug that in. This is going to the power. So I'll plug that in. And I'm going to try and use my anchor for the power here, just so I can save myself desktop space here. I should have cleaned up my desk a little bit better. I've been running project after project. It's crazy. Let's see. And we've got stuff for the other unboxes here. All right, it did see it, and it did recognize on the screen here. There we go. You can see no signal whatsoever. That's expected. Now I'm going to go and take, hopefully my MacBook Air is charged up. I'm pretty sure it is. So let me unlock that. There we go. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. There we go. And that out of the way. So now I have my MacBook Pro. I'm going to take the other cable. We're going to see if it directly plugs in or if I need some sort of software. I might have that already installed, so I might just connect up. We'll see what happens. So I am going to push the power button. And it says auto select. We're in power saving mode. We are connected up. We do have power and we do have that. Let's just unplug and plug back in. And once again, sometimes these power warts don't really work too well. I might have to plug it in with the plug, with the adjustable plug. Yeah, it's saying no signal. Let's see what happens here. Come on. Out you go. Let's see if this stretches. Probably won't. For this test, we'll plug and hold it. Yep, it's saying no signal anyway, so it doesn't matter on that. That's good to know. We'll just unplug that. And we will plug this back in. So we have power coming here. So that tells me that there's probably some sort of software that we have to install on the laptop, which I will check. Or maybe I don't have the cable pushed in. Or maybe this is a Windows only machine. I've run across that too. Okay. It is using the display link chip. So, and I'm pretty sure I have display link on here. There we go. I'll just run that software. So let's go ahead and unplug this and plug it back in. Still not getting it. All right. Well, yeah, and my PC is upstairs. Let's do this. Let's see this in action. So I'm just going to go quickly go get the Windows PC. Once again, this is the fun stuff that I find when I have to pull it out of the box like that. But I like to do it that way. It makes for more... Oh, that unplugged. Maybe that's the reason why it wasn't working. That's the case. I want to try this first. Come on out. Look at that. Now it works. It helps when the cable stays plugged in, I suppose. So now it's asking if we want to allow the accessory to connect. We're going to say allow. And we're allowing display link to control the video screens right here. And as you can see there, now it works. So go figure. User error, I guess. So what this is basically, I'm going to use this for testing the HDMI though. So what we've got here is we've got the main monitor and we've got the two side monitors here. And of course, if we go into the display settings, so we'll go here and we'll go display. There we go. And both of these can be sent to mirror or extend. Oh, I guess they are extended. So if I go like that, that's over there. And then this one's over here. But we want this third one. Let's identify. All right. Let's change this so it, there we go, range. We're going to take this monitor and we're going to set it up here. And we're going to take this and we're going to move it in the middle. So, and we're going to say done. So now if I go like this, it'll go down here and it'll go up here. So there's my 3 displays. It looks pretty good and it works really well. So I'm really happy about that. I'm glad it was just a small little user glitch to bring that. And of course, we could flip this to portrait. We can turn the monitors sideways, and then you got to be a little bit creative with the kickstand for that. Since the kickstand is the one that's holding the cables, I like that idea because it's pushed in a little bit. So when you have this on its side like this, you don't have to deal with the cables being any type of pain. And look at that. It kind of sits at an angle, which is pretty cool. So if I say this one I want as, let's see. Well, don't think I can do that on a Mac, but I know I can do this on PC. So I can flip these portrait. So I could set this up to a dual portrait. But I believe on Mac I can only do... Yeah, I'm only seeing options to do landscape mode. So that's on a Mac right there. All right. And now let's go ahead and move to the PC. So I'm just going to plug it in through the USB-C, but you can also use the HDMI for this. We're going to bring this up. I should probably flip like this just in case I have any important files open on my laptop. There we go. Yeah, I got to minimize some of this stuff. And it instantly saw the 3 displays. Close, and then we're going to go into display settings, and then we'll come back so you can see what's going on. Right there. There we go. So as you can see, we have the monitors. We're going to extend on all 3, so let's do that. And we'll keep the changes. So now we've got 1, 2, and 3. I'll hit the identify. Top one's 2, bottom one's 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 2 down like this and the 3 over to this. Monitor 1 is 4K resolution, and then these are 1080p. So once I hit apply, there we go. So now if I move this around, you'll see that's actually backwards. That's wild. That is wild. All right, 2 was on top, so let's move 2 to top and 3 to bottom and apply. There we go. So now if I do that same thing, we got 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. That's perfect there. So let's go ahead and change these. Do not have the HDR on. We're going to say this one is portrait. There we go. We're going to keep the changes. So this one's portrait. The bottom one's landscape. But we're going to take the 3rd monitor. And we're also going to make that portrait. There we go. Keep the changes. And then we're going to take monitor 2 and 3, and we're just going to set them side by side, like so, and we'll hit apply. Now, what's cool about this is I could have videos running. Maybe I'm watching a whole bunch of TikToks or something like that, and have the vertical screen. That's always a good thing to do, or feeds from Facebook or X or anything like that. As you can see, there it is right there. There it is right there. And then, of course, on the main screen, it's in the horizontal pattern. So we've got all three going there. So like I said, I could have, maybe vertical pictures, or like I said, I'm doing a lot with Suno as of recent, and you can always follow me over there. But I'm doing a lot of AI generated video to learn how to craft the perfect video prompt. And that's very important in today's day and age when it comes to AI, by the way. So as you can see, it works pretty well. I don't know if I have the display port. Let me just double check here. Display. I think display link. Yeah, it does have display link software on here. So if you plug this in, yeah, and you'll say it in the user guide, you can always go and find the display link drivers and be able to run it that way. So, all right, that is the monitor. And like I said, we can turn around and we could plug it into the HDMI and get the same thing. You get the idea. But with the HDMI, keep in mind it's either going to be this monitor or this monitor. That's why there's two HDMI ports in the back. So you can have that control. And I believe you'll be able to control it. So you could kind of turn off this monitor and then have your PlayStation or your Xbox or whatever playing on that one. Or have, have two different boxes, like maybe two fire sticks or something like that, or one in the computer, one in the fire stick. So you could be watching one football game on one and another football game on another, college games, pro games, whatever, hockey, basketball starting up again, all these others. So you get the idea. And of course, when you're done, all you have to do is close it up. And it's pretty lightweight. We're talking, it feels like about maybe 3 pounds in all. So it is very, very lightweight. Actually, this laptop's heavier than this thing. So maybe it's a little bit more, 3-4 pounds, but this is still so paper thin. It's crazy. And, because I remember when, let's just do that. Oops, wrong one. I hate it when I do that. There we go. I remember, I'll bring that down. I remember when I was doing a lot of IT work outside the house, and I would have loved to have a single or dual monitor setup in some situations, especially if I'm in a hotel and I really need to get some work done. Being able to bring this with me, and it just fits right in with the laptop in the bag, and that's cool. But you do have this nice little case. I suppose if with my MacBook Air, I could probably put that in the case. Let's find out. So there's the monitors in this case. There we go. And cables will fit right in front there. And I don't think I'll be able to fit my Air into there. Let's find out. Oh, not too bad. Look at that. Couple handles, and I'm off and running. There you go. Look at that. That's pretty sweet. So that was the Minix SF15 case from Minix. All right, first recording is done. Haley Bags, you're probably not on. I saw you earlier. I ordered my Smart Plug 2-pack on October 2nd for delivery on the 4th. Never came, and we're still got no package. When will you shave your beard? Unk. Okay. Oh. I don't think that's a cousin. Is that a cousin? I don't know. Anyway, sorry to hear that you ordered something. David says shave your beard. No, I'm not going to shave my beard. Yeah, I do need to brush my beard. I forgot to do that, but I'm not going to shave it. Well, yeah, I actually will shave it. I'll trim it down. If you're saying that needs a trim, I totally agree. I will definitely trim it down. Let's move this out of the way. But how are you doing? Ah, I see. Yep. All right. There we go. There we go. All right, let's move on from there. So that was the Minix SF 15. Yeah, I did have a little there. There we go. We are gonna skip that for a minute. I'm gonna go put this away. This is by the way, this is the ZBook, HP ZBook, and it's super big because it's got a beefy processor and it's got 12 terabytes of RAM and or 12 terabytes of storage and 128 gigabytes of RAM inside of there. So it's meant for video production. And I use it on a regular basis. So put it into its bag. There you go. Set that down. And the cables can go out of the way as we go to the next thing. Need that. Need that. Get this junk out of the way. All right. Next up, let's talk about the burst. I like that. We'll talk about the burst. Let's burst it. We're going to burst it out. Make sure that my settings are good. So we'll bring that back and we'll zoom that in a little bit and up just a skosh. There we go. Look at that. All right. Lock that and we'll go 1. And then we'll go over here. So as you can see, go back to 44. Let's see. That's too big. And we'll go right about there. We'll bring it down. Zoom in a little bit and up. Excuse me. Like that. And what was that? That was 2. So we'll say 2. There we are. All right. There we go. And we'll go like this. Let's see what my overhead's like. My overhead needs to be fixed a little bit. Unlock. Bring that down like that. There we go. Lock that back up. And then we'll save that as 1. There we go. All right. Boop. Boop. And boop. All right, coming back in, we have, there we go. We got a couple things from Turtle Beach. This is the Burst 2 Pro. And then we also have the Vulcan 2 TKL keyboard that we're going to unbox next. And we're going to start with the mouse. Now, I reviewed the Burst 1 and Turtle Beach didn't own that at that time. It was another company, but it looks like Turtle Beach bought out that company. Actually, the mouse is right here. This is the Burst 1. And I've been using this for, gosh, how many years now? Yeah, the company's name was Rocat. And I'm assuming that Turtle Beach bought them out. And of course, they continued with this. So the Burst 2 now has some new options. I believe you can use it as a wired mouse, but it does have Bluetooth and it does have wireless options to that. And I believe you can do like 2 or 3 different devices at the same time. Let me just close this out, that out, and get that. There we go. Bring that over. So it's a 2.4 gigahertz wireless esports gaming mouse. Let's flip it over here. Oh, before we do that, I do have to say that Turtle Beach did send me product to review, but they're not sponsoring this video, and all opinions are of my own. All right. So we'll get over here and we'll do this. So what this is, and we're going to take this and we're going to move this over and up just a skosh. There we go. So what this is a gaming mouse, 8K polling, 57-gram ultra lightweight, 150-hour battery. And it's got 30K DPI optical sensor, 8 inputs, Bluetooth wireless. And you can get them in multiple colors. I believe this is in black. You can also get it in white. And there is a colorful version, I believe. And there's other options there, so you can check that out over on the page over at Amazon and go from there. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have. Let's go here. And then we'll go ahead and slide that open. Easier said than done. Oop, there we go. And there's the mouse right there. We'll go on our overhead camera. There's the mouse right there. Fairly straightforward. Got some tape to take off there. We've got, looks like there's a QR code on the bottom. And I have a feeling if you want to use a device that you could scan that QR code to match it up. So we got probably some more stuff here under the box. Yes, we do. We have got a dongle here. Now, I believe it's just taking regular wireless, but it might need that wireless dongle. Or that might be what just connects it to the computer otherwise. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. So there's this little sub dongle that holds the dongle. So I'm wondering if this is a USB that could connect to a computer. I think what's inside here is going to definitely tell us that information. So let's get that opened up, and then we'll pull that out. We'll zoom out just a little bit so you can see what's going on. We got, these are, they look like stickers, but they're actually pads for the bottom of the mouse. So we'll need that. And then these are some sort of stickers. I'm wondering if these are for, we'll find out as we go. We got some more stickers. These feel like grip stickers. So if I want to put grips onto the buttons or the mouse itself, I can. What else we got here? There's the cable right there. There's our instructions and some silica gel. There we go. Let's get that out of the way. I think that's it. Oh, yeah. And some more of those pads, maybe to help slide on this. This mouse is actually designed so if you have a glass countertop, it will work without a problem. Now, I believe there's a battery inside of here. Yes, there is. As you can see, we saw a little green light on top. And, of course, we switch it the other way. There's that green light again. And let me just double check on this. All right, yeah. So if you switch it down, it'll go into Bluetooth mode, but if you switch it up, then it'll go into wireless mode. So I believe these are, yeah, we take these off and reveal the pads, the slide pads, basically. So some people will leave this on. I'll probably just take it off because it's satisfying. There's 3. And there's 4. There we go. Put that back in the box. And there we go. Now let's let me just double check this really quick. what these other pads are for. They don't really say, but I'm guessing, like for instance, when these pads wear out, you'll have an extra set to put into here. Or a different type of pad. I just realized that these are small pads, but these have more space to them. That's interesting. The dots, I'm still not sure. They're called PTFE. So I would guess that they're probably on here. We still got one more piece of tape here. It's going to be the tougher one to take off. There we go. There we go. Put that there. And we're good to go. We're not going to connect it up to the computer because that's going to take a lot of work. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this and see what we've got. All right. So it's a 2-button mouse. We've got the scroll jog wheel that does click down. That is not a button right there. We've got side buttons, 3 of them. And this might be a pair button. I'll have to double check, but because it's so far away and it doesn't really feel like it's part of the button system, that this button might be used to pair your device with your computer. Nothing on this side, nothing on the back, and of course on the front we do have the USB-C connection there. So I'm guessing if I do this, yep, it's going to connect up. So we have a wired mouse option, which goes USB-C to USB-A, and I'm assuming you could find a good USB-C to C cable if you need to. But then you could then take that out, and then you could use it through the wireless, and you could do the wireless 2 ways. You could have this dongle, this USB dongle going straight into the computer, or you could attach it here, plug it here, and then have this plug into the computer. And sometimes it's good because maybe your computer is farther away than your mouse, and you could actually tape this on the corner of the table, and that will give you a better USB strength, if that makes sense. So anyway, so this mouse right here actually feels very, I'm just judging with my burst 1. Let's see if I can show you that. Where is it? There it is right there. I'm going to move that out of the way. So this is the first version of the burst. It's a little bit dirty because I've used it for so many years. And then, of course, let's zoom this out a little bit. And we'll focus it back in. There we go. And we'll lock that. There we go. All right, so there's the old burst 1, and there is the new burst 2. That's still not. There we go. Focused right. All right. So the old burst 1, the new burst. As you can see, the old burst has some really cool lighting to it. I'm not sure what we'll see when we plug this in to the lighting, but now I feel like I need to. So let me grab I'm going to use my MacBook Air. There we go. Get this out of the way. Get these out of the way. And we'll go back here. No, back here. There we go. There we go. Disk not ejected properly. I didn't eject a disk. It probably thinks of that monitor as a disk, which is interesting. So go to the Bluetooth. And we're going to switch it to Bluetooth here. And we've got the light. And now we will see. Let me think here. Nope. Let's go Bluetooth. We do have a blue light here, which is interesting. Oh, the blue light is for the Bluetooth. Okay, that makes sense. Where'd it go? I went the wrong area. There we go. Settings. Go Bluetooth. Yeah, and we're seeing the Burst 2 Pro right there. So I'm just going to hit connect. And it says keyboard assistant setup. We got just a mouse here, which is interesting. But we'll hit continue. Well, actually, we'll just quit that for now. But now the mouse. Yep. Now, let's just get that out of the way. It's tough to see my mouse, of course. Where is it? There it is. It's right there. But it's being controlled by this mouse right here. Pretty straightforward. And I have a feeling if I flipped it over, yeah, it stops working. But I'll figure out how you can connect it up to Wi-Fi. But you should be able to do the same thing and then use Wi-Fi or use it through Bluetooth. So that is the Burst right there. Let's close this up and move on. There we go. That's the Burst. And it's $134, but it's a very versatile mouse because, like I said, not only can you connect it up to your computer, you could connect it up to other devices. You might be able to connect it up to your iPad. I should have brought my iPad down to test that as well, but we'll test that later and show you the results. Let's move on from there. Oh, yeah. Take that mouse, bring that down. Sometimes when I'm at my station here, I'll be working on two computers. So it's nice to always have that wireless mouse so I can put it with my regular mouse. And then, of course, a keyboard up here for that. So, and that's where the Vulcan comes in. Now, I used the first version of the Vulcan for many, many years on there. And of course, basically it just wore out, the keycaps. And the cool thing about this is you can actually get the keys replaced. And there are third-party keycaps you can just plug right into here and use. And that's what I like about the Vulcan. But I also got a keyboard that actually had some extra keys. They work with the Stream Deck. So it was from Corsair. But this is going to be a great secondary keyboard. I might put that upstairs in the music room because I always like to have a portable keyboard that can be very versatile from there. So this is the Turtle Beach Vulcan 2 TKL. It is a mechanical RGB gaming keyboard. So, and it also lights up, and that's another good reason why I would probably put it up in the music room. The keyboard I have up there does not light up, so if it's a dark room, I can see where I'm typing, and that's always a plus right there. And so, like I said, this has got mechanical keys that can be replaced. They're the pre-lubed switched keys, and they're completely swappable. So let's say you don't use QWERTY keyboard, you use a Dvorak keyboard, you could switch the keys around. And then the most ideal thing is to not have letters on the keys and then just use it that way. But you could actually move the keys to the spot of a Dvorak keyboard. If you don't know what a Dvorak keyboard is, it's just a different layout for your keyboards. Or let's say you have a different language that you want to put on here. You could do that as well. So I'm not sure if they have language keycaps from Vulcan or anything like that, but if you find some third-party stuff, you can definitely add to that. Let's bring that in. Let's take a look at that really quick and probably go like this. Zoom out a little bit. That looks good. And let's go ahead and we'll move that out of the way a little bit more. And let's go ahead and unbox this. Do I have to? Yeah, I have some tape I have to deal with. And like with the mouse, they did send me product to review, but they're not sponsoring this video. All opinions are of my own over at Geekazine. All right, let's take a look. We're opening this up. And there's the keyboard in paper, in a paper Not really paper, it's like a wax paper. There we go. So there's the keyboard. It's actually smaller than the previous Vulcan. I have that Vulcan somewhere around here, but it is not a. You notice that there's no num lock on this, so this is just basic QWERTY keyboard right here. And of course, as you can see, with the raised mechanical, we even got the clicks, which we'll play with it a little bit. So we got the keyboard right here. That's tougher when you're streaming too, to have something that has a click to it. We'll raise this up. There were some instructions too that you can look at. And there we go. There's the, it's a C to A cable. And then there's another box here. I'm just going to get this out of the way. There we go. And inside of here, there we go. Yeah, what do we got in here? Doesn't want to come out. Rip the box open. There we go. Oh, okay. I know what this is. And this is pretty cool. So what this is, these are extra keycaps, mechanical. So let's say your H key stops working. You use this to pull out the key, and I'm not sure how to do it. The instructions will probably tell me. This is a very interesting tool. I didn't get it with the last Vulcan, but this is probably showing you how to set this up to pull out the keys, and then you could replace the keycaps, which are right here. Let's move over here. There we go. Like that. There we go. So these are the extra keycaps. So one of your keys dies, you can replace that there. If you're just slamming on the L key a lot, you can fix that. And then, of course, this is the tool that you use to pull the keycaps out and replace them from there. All right. With that said, with that done, let's go ahead and look at the keyboard. There we go. Pretty straightforward keyboard right here. Bring it up a touch. There we go. Standard QWERTY keyboard. Notice there's no numbers keypad on the side. So if you're looking for something with a keypad, then there might be another option with it or without. Let me just double check really quick. Not as the TKL model. But if you get the Vulcan 2 or the Vulcan 2 Max, that will have the keypad and the print screen and the insert and all those. Well, actually, they're right there. But anything over here will be added in the Vulcan 2. So this is a smaller keyboard, which is perfect in some situations. We've got the USB connection right here. On the bottom, I don't see any type of power on. So this has got to be... I don't think this actually is battery operated. Okay. So it's just the fact that this cable detaches so you can unconnect it from your computer. The one thing that I do see a downfall is they give you a C to A cable, but if you're connecting up to like your MacBook, you're going to have to get a C to C cable to do that. And I really wish this would have been a C to A adapter right here, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, same thing with that mouse. They had the C to A cable, but not an adapter for and a C to C. That makes more sense to do it that way. So, but anyway, let's see. Let's do a quick. Yeah, these keys are really nice. If I remember correct, Vulcan has two types of keycaps that you can get. One that's a little bit harder to, and one that's a little bit softer. So it'd have less of the little key clicky things. That's what I'm talking about. So, but anyway, as you can see, there we go. And once we plug it in, yeah, I'm going to have to plug it in. Let's see. To plug it in, I'm going to need a C2C. That works. We'll see if this works. It plugs into that side. We'll bring up my laptop. And we'll plug this in. And we'll make sure. There we go. We hear the click. We hear the click. And it's saying allow accessory to connect. So I'm going to say yes. And there we go. Take a look. It's lit up. I'm going to turn off the lights so you can see it a little bit better. So yeah, we have, and I'm guessing there's some software that you can use to change that, to adjust the colors on there. So next to the shift, on the, where is it? Immediately to the right of the shift key, so that's Z, and then on the other side, there we go. And then this is just basically a US keyboard, so we'll hit done. And there we go. Now, if we hold down function, maybe that's how we can change the colors. So if we go function and function F1, there we go. Look at that. There's F3, F4, F5. Okay, no, then we get into things like shutting down the computer and the brightness of the computer. So there we go. If we want all red, we want all blue. Let's see. Yeah. You notice how that's blinking up there. That's pretty cool. And there's some other keys here that show in the function. Like this one right here. Okay, that's controlling computer. Okay. So yeah, those are just play and contrast and all the other stuff you can control on your computer. But as you can see, it's got a really nice color to it. Let's go ahead and just put it into a solid color. We'll use blue. I kind of wish there were more colors, because this probably is the best one, but I would have loved to have a yellow or be able to control it. Maybe there is some software. Let's take a look at the manual and see if there's a way to control. That is for the burst mouse. Okay. So anyway, with the burst mouse in Bluetooth format and with the keyboard in whatever color you want, you're good to go. And that's pretty cool. So $149 for the Vulcan 2 TKL style keyboard. And I do like the feel on this. The clickiness, not as much, because being a, turn the light back on, being a person that has to go out and be on live, having the clicky sound is not the one thing I really need, or I can't type the keyboard. Whereas this one has the soft keys to it. But you can change out the keycaps to something else if you want to. So really cool right here. A nice feel, nice look. And of course, oh, I forgot to mention that there is a volume knob on the side, which does push in. And then standard QWERTY keyboard. And I'm guessing that they have other versions of the keyboard depending on what language you type in. So you can check out with Vulcan and at Turtle Beach and see what options they have for that. So, all right, that's the Turtle Beach. All right. Well, that looks like a different person. That was a different person. So thank you, whoever did that. We'll say yes. Let's close this out. Get this out of the way. And look at a gaming system. Gaming pad system. Out of the way. Get all that out of the way. I don't want to lose these pads at all because I might use them. Yeah, it definitely has some traction on that. That's pretty cool. All right, let's check to see if there's any other comments. All right, nope, we're all good. Let's go ahead and get to the last. Before I do want to mention that I am wearing the Turtle Beach Vulcan headset. I forgot about it. It was so comfortable. I forgot about it. And what was really interesting is that it was keeping my ears warm and, of course, killing the decibel sound in here. So it was kind of nice to be in a nice closed environment, I guess. So, but anyway, this is the Turtle Beach Stealth 700. And let me call up my pages here really quick. There we go. And with the Stealth 700, where are we? Right there. No, where is it? All right, there we go. And with the Stealth 700, it's a Gen 3 wireless multi-platform gaming headset. You can use it for your PS5. You can use it for your PS3, PS4, or your Xbox or anything like that. It comes in a couple different colors. And what's really cool about this, let's zoom it out just a touch and up. There we go. Lock it back in. We have multiple options. We can use it as a USB headset. Or I believe that, I don't think it does analog. No, it does not do analog. We have the Bluetooth option. You can use it with the Bluetooth option, and you can use it with the wired option. Two at the same time. So if you're doing any gaming on Twitch or something like that, you could have the microphone going into the computer and going into the gaming system. There is a microphone on here. We'll get to that in a second. So we have volume separator and, of course, the volume, so you can turn up and down the music, what you can turn up and down when you're talking to somebody, and a lot more. So lots of buttons here. We've got the power button over here, and then the switch button, which will switch over to systems, and then, like I said, 3 dials, and of course the power on button. This is battery operated, and then the microphone, which comes out like this. I think that's all you do. So if I put this back on, there we are. This does not, oh, there it goes. It angles a little bit to get towards the middle of your voice, or to get to towards your mouth, but it doesn't do much more than that. So up, down, and angle. That's it. And of course, it's pretty discreet when it is not around. So, and when it gets put up here, it will turn itself off. But you do have other options with the headset. So this is a really nice headset. I've used it for just watching movies. And $169 on it. It's 15% off right now over at Amazon. So we reviewed that, about 3-4 months ago, I think it was. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on from there. We'll take a small little break as I set up and talk about the Seraphim. We did that. We did that. There we go. So, yeah, I want to direct you towards the Audible. Audible is great for listening to audiobooks, and the best thing about it is that you can do it while you're driving a car. You can do it while you're just sitting around, and maybe even using it to sleep. Have audiobooks put you to sleep. That happens too. I've used those that way. But the one thing I love to do with an Audible subscription is actually have them read it. You got to make sure that you have the right version of book to do this, but you're actually reading along with what they're saying. And that makes it a little bit easier for me to stay in the moment, is to be able to have that audio version and the written version, so I don't kind of sway away into the distance or anything like that. My ADHD is like always going, what? Okay, so, but anyway, Audible. Of course, you can get the Audible for Fire TV. It's a free app. Put it on the TV, but of course, you can also check out Audible.com, and they've got some. I think they got promotion coming up very soon, so you can check that out. Also want to show you some of the cool stuff that I do own that I didn't grab with me. So I do have this is my live stream bag. So it has that laptop that I showed you earlier. But the cool thing about this bag is it doesn't have cameras in it, but it has everything that I need to take a camera and run a stream. And I got this on the wrong side of this bag. I like this bag because it has those side pockets, and you just flip it over and it's on the other side. But inside of here, oops, there we go, is my little GLI net, which is a wireless router that I use when I travel. I use when I do remote streams and all that other stuff. Let's set this back down. I remember when they first came out with the Slate 7, which was a Wi-Fi 5 model. And this is Wi-Fi 6, and I know they've got a Wi-Fi 7 router out there. They got consumer routers, they got these portable routers, they got routers that you can put into your home for your internet. And of course, mesh wireless, we reviewed those a while back, but this one goes with me on travel. I like to take this one and the Slate 7 and then use this as the hotspot, and then the other one as a mesh repeater. So I could really improve the signal in my room here. And then if like the hotel has an Ethernet connection, I love it when they do, because then I can plug it in here. This controls, I set up my laptops and my tablets and my phones and everything like that through here. And I can even set up VPN protection on here. So the host, if somebody's trying to steal information through the Wi-Fi, they can't do that. And the best part is, even if hotel Wi-Fis have those what are called captive pages, it's basically once you connect up to the Wi-Fi, it calls up a page and says what room number you're in, what's your name, and then how do you want to connect, if you want to pay for the faster connection, things like that. You could set this up so it will actually, whatever computer you plug into it, that captive portal will go over to the computer. And it will not see that you're doing it from the computer. It will see that you're doing it from here. And then it'll treat this as one device. So if you have 4 or 5 devices, this is one device. And of course, I also use this with my cameras. So I'll use this and then a switch with what's called PoE, power over Ethernet. That will power the cameras for a very small footprint in a 2 to 3 camera shoot. And I've been using this system for many years. And it all starts with this guy right here, the GLI net. Great little device for whatever you need, whether it be going to hotels and doing live streams, gaming night, if you don't want people on your regular network, so you can plug this in on the side and then set up gaming Wi-Fi, or connection. So when people connect up, they connect up to here. And then when you're done for the evening, you just unplug it and go from there. You can also set this up as a guest Wi-Fi. So if you're having a party and they just need to connect up to share their posts or pictures or whatever, this is where they're going to get it from. And then once again, you can unplug it from there, and then they're not into your regular Wi-Fi, which, if they have the password, they could stop by your house and get close to the door and do whatever they need to do, and then go on leave from there. So, but anyway, that is the GLI Net, the ATX 1800 Slate AX. It's what it's called. Wi-Fi 6. It's a great router to have for whatever you need it to do. AS Prime Picks says, hello there. Hey, AS Prime Picks. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. I forgot to grab these. These are the Tozo open ear rings. I love these things. In fact, I was just doing laundry the other day, and I had these in. They kind of cover over the ears. They look like earrings. They cut and cover over the ears, and so they have a bit of openness to them, so you can hear things passing by, but it can help reduce a little bit of the sound because it is blocking a little bit of the ear space. So if you took your fingers and did that and then let it go and listen to yourself talk, you can hear the difference. That's basically what the Tozo rings will do, is they'll allow you to do that. We've got 33% off on that deal, so you might want to check that out. I use the Tozo for when I go run, because they stay in the ears, and they've got a very low profile. So unlike I also like the Shocks, don't get me wrong, but they're over the ear, and they kind of get rigid every now and then. So I keep those down here, and then of course I use the Tozos for whatever I do. In fact, when I went to travel, I went to Dublin a couple weeks ago. I always like to bring 3 sets of headphones. One is something like the Tozo, the open ring, so I can hear what's going on. Something with noise canceling earbuds. So when we're boarding the plane, I'm putting those in and listening to music. And then something like, well, not these because they don't have the 3.5 inch millimeter, but something over the ears, so I can completely get the sound out from the plane. Plus, I can plug into their infotainment system. Oops, excuse me. I can plug into their infotainment system and watch whatever they have going on on the plane. So anyway, that's the Tozo. And then we got a limited deal on TP-Link. I have the TP-Link. This is the ER605 V2. That's actually what's powering my system, and I'm not going to show you that, unfortunately, because it's called a gateway. And the cool thing about a gateway is that becomes your first line of defense. So you have your modem, whatever company you get your cable or or over the air or fiber or whatever, it comes from there into this gateway. This gateway has a bunch of functionality like VPN. It's got the ability to actually take 2 internet connections and do what's called SD-WAN. So basically it switches back and forth. So you can set it up. So you could say everything from Amazon Prime Video goes through connection 1. Everything from the other streamers goes through connection 2. And if connection 2 goes down, they can't use connection 1. But if connection 1 goes down, you can use connection 2 to get your video. Now, I put it that way, but the reality is if you've got a business at home, you can have one internet for business and one internet for just watching TV. But if internet 1 goes down, it can use internet 2. Or I can say anything from Amazon Prime goes to internet 2. So I'm not blocking internet 1. So I can upload my videos or do my live streams or anything like that and not get affected because somebody upstairs watching a movie or anything like that. And of course it becomes failover. So you have 2 different internet providers. Maybe one's fiber and one's cable. And then you can have them both coming in the house. So if one does decide to have an outage, the other one's there to pick up the slack. Lots of cool stuff to have that. Plus, it's a first line of defense. You normally get, something like this, which has the Ethernet jacks, and you plug everything into one box. And you could do that, but what I do, I have the Netgear Wi-Fi router, or yeah, the Wi-Fi router that's doing only one thing, and that is controlling any device that's on Wi-Fi. The gateway, the TP-Link, deals with everything else. It gives the device's IP addresses. It can separate things. I can create what's called VLANs. So, like for instance, my cameras are not on the same LAN addresses as my computers. So I can keep those separate, and I can manage things from there. And that's what's really cool about that. So anyway, that's the TP-Link. It's 17% off right now. It's a very cool deal, and it's a very good price. And it's a great way to add extra defense to your network. Plus, it has other features to it. It's part of the Omada network. So you could actually set it up as a cloud device. So if you're on the road, and let's say you're concerned because somebody might get in and look at what you got on data because you left your computer on, you could actually turn off the gateway remotely, so you can feel a little bit safer about what data is coming through your networks. So anyway, that's the TP-Link there. And then finally, before you geek out, coffee. This is one of many shirts over at Geekazine, and designed by me. So you can go over to amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, and you'll see the merch section. In fact, I'll show that to you right away. So over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine, right here it says Geekazine merch. You'll click on that, and there's all the t-shirts. We've got the Cryptic t-shirt. We've got the Born to Geek Out shirt. We've got, of course, Before You Geek Out coffee. New designs coming very soon, but I have a few different designs over there that you can get your shirts. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys very much for supporting the channel. All right. With that said and with that done, let's go back over here, and we're going to go here. Because the last thing we're going to talk about, what I do with it, where'd it go, what I do with it, what I do with it. Let me hit this button first so I don't forget. Boop. There it is. This is the Seraphim S3. Now, they had an S1 and an S2, but of course, this is the S3, and it's just hit the Amazon stores. So I've had this for a couple months, and I do have to say that Seraphim did send me this product to review. They are not sponsoring the video, and of course, all opinions are of my own. So, but basically what this is a mobile joystick adapter. For anything with a USB-C connection. It doesn't have a lightning connection to it. You can do anything from playing games to game recording to video editing. Interesting. So if you got a system like not Blackmagic, but Adobe just came out with Premiere Pro for the iPhone, so I could actually use this to do some of the editing, and maybe we'll do that on this phone because the other phone was having a small little bit of problems with the connections. But it also comes with games, or a game service that you can connect up, and of course it's also got interchangeable ergonomic grips that you can get for this, and of course it works on Android and iPhone and many different phones. And of course, results do vary. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at this. So, all right. What do we got inside? Inside, we have some instructions. And then we have the unit itself. Underneath that, we've got cable, we've got some more instructions, and we've got those extra pads. I'm going to take out one of them. Well, we'll take out both of them. We'll try them both on. So this can connect up so you can charge your phone while you're playing your games. Let's get this out of the way. And this is the joystick right here. Notice how it doesn't collapse all the way. So if you are taking it with you, you want to probably put it in a case of some sort. It does have these little O-rings that we can get rid of. There we go. All right. And then, of course, these little side case inserts that you can put in. So we will put those in a second once we zoom in and take a look at the joystick itself. So let's Move that out of the way. Let's zoom in. And lock that. All right. So from here, we have your basic joystick and D-pad. I think that's right. Yeah. Joystick and D-pad for on your left button. We have then I believe that's the select button and an extra button right over here. On the other side, we have the standard A, B, X, Y buttons, another joystick, and then this is the Seraphim connection button. So if for some reason your joystick disconnects from the phone, this thing will allow for to find it again. And then another button right here, and I'm not sure what that button's for. But on the back, we do have the standard index finger buttons, 2 of them here and 2 of them there. I think that's what the LT and the RT and the LB and RB, right? Yeah. So those buttons right there. On the back, we've got a nice little, let's zoom this out a little bit so you can see a little bit better. On the back, it's a little textured, but you take these things right here, and the right way, of course, you can put them on for a different type of feel. Actually, I think we got to take these off. Is that right? Yeah, I have to take these off. So, okay. We would do that through there. I don't really want to use the knife, but I don't have anything else to pry it. So you got to pry it right here. There we go. Pops off. And then you can put on... This one has a little bit rough texture, and this one's a little smooth texture. So you can pop that on like so. Easier said than done, right? Usually it's... There we go. There we go. So now that's on. On the bottom here, you can kind of see that's the headphone jack right here. And then on this side, we have the USB-C connection. So if you do need to charge your phone, you can definitely do that. But when you're done, you can put your phone. And this is an Android. This is a new 20 phone, NUU 20 phone. And it was having some connection problems. And I think that's because of the phone, not because of the device. But we will give it another try as we go from here. But anyway, so it plugs into the phone like this. Let's zoom it out a little bit. There we go. And then I gotta, oh, there we go. So you have the app that you need. It's called the Seraphim. You get the Seraphim console and Seraphim audio. You want the console. So you bring that console in. And then, of course, once you get everything set up, you'll have the setup inside there. You can load up your games, and of course, let's see. Like I said, I was having some connection issues with this thing. Yeah, it doesn't want to play with this phone. Let's and I didn't load any games up on my regular iPhone. Let me make sure I don't have anything that is important. We'll plug it into my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So as you can see, it connects up just fine. We'll go Seraphim, and I have a case on. I guess I don't have the software on here. Yay me! Let's just bring it in. Give me a second. There we go. Seraphim Play. There we go. So that's going to load. And then, of course, that'll run the connection here. So I was telling you I do have the case on here. So it allows me, let's open that up. There we go. It allows me to use the case if I want to. And then we'll just do anonymous right now. that was for games. Let's see. Wow, this app has changed. Do that again. There we go. So bringing the Seraphim series. Did I download the right app? Maybe I didn't download the right app. This does not look like the right app. Let me just double check here. I love spell check. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I did download the wrong app. Sorry about that. That's why it didn't look right. All right. There we go. So now there's the Seraphim S3 to continue. We did plug it in, so let's sometimes. Now, the one thing about this, I want to show this to you. So the USB-C port right here does move around, so it might not get inserted properly when you put it in, because the idea is you're supposed to be able to pull it up to get it into the USB port. Oops, that's not what I wanted. So we'll do that, and then we'll get that into USB right there. There we go. Now we're connected. And that's not connecting. Why is it not connecting? Let's take it out of the case. Even though it worked with the case on before. Almost dropped my phone. There we go. Let's do this again. There we go. Now we have a more solid connection. It did work without the case. Saw the red light. There we go. There's the red light. And it's saying, let's just do this. Oops, and then I loaded the wrong one. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Hold on a second. Now we'll open this up. Ugh. Don't you love it when things just don't work out the way you expect them to? I did recognize it for a second. Well, not sure what to say there. It's always the problem when you're trying to show stuff for the first time is it should be connecting. And this is kind of the problem I had with the other one. So maybe I just got a connection issue with this USB-C. Like I said, it is like a loose tooth on this device. So let's see if I can get it to reconnect here. I'm pretty sure it doesn't need to be charged. Let me just double check. I threw away my... Alright. Tossed over cable. Yeah, I don't think there's a battery in here. Let's just plug it in like that. Well, don't you love it when something doesn't work the way that you need it to? That might just be this one specific unit, and it was working before, so maybe I did something to it. Well, I guess I'll play with it and see what we got. So anyway, that's the Seraphim. It is a gaming joystick that you can use for your phone, whether it be an Android or an iOS device. And of course, it does have to be USB-C to use that from there. So anyway, that gets us to the end of my unboxing here. So let's just check some of the chats here. It looks like we're pretty much there for any type of questions. We're good. Let's see what happens here. Nothing here. So yeah, all right. So that's it for me today. I appreciate those that did stop by, and yeah, I appreciate those that did stop by. Thanks, Hallie, and thanks to AS Prime Picks. And we'll try and do another one shortly, and hopefully a product that will actually work. Till next time, my name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out and game on, I guess. Take care.